Welcome back to the Tongue of the Trees. I'm Elizabeth Ashley, the Secret Healer, and today we're talking about what is Neroli essential oil good for. We've already talked about the physical aspects, and I said in the first video that they're intrinsically linked, and it's almost going to feel like an echo this second video, because the emotional medicine of Neroli is so reassuring and it's so emotionally balancing, and we can see how that would settle the diarrhea, how that would move the tension out of the muscles and soften the frame for things like arthritis, for fibromyalgia. That softening comes from the change in the breathing. We can see how asthma, for example, would be relaxed by this relaxing of the airways and this not holding our breath and not hyperventilating anymore, and from the anxiety, you know. Where is the balance? It's the whole thing, isn't it? It's the whole way through. But as we breathe in, immediately we feel a softness and a reassuring nature. And if you imagine for a moment, think of the Neroli orange blossom on the branch, and think of the tree itself, how incredibly useful the orange tree is. We have the even the branches make the petitgram, and then eventually the medicine blossoms into this burst of positivity, doesn't it? You know, this complete optimism of the orange. We're not quite there when we're in the stages of the flower. We're the beginnings, the noticing that something is different, whether that is in the body, you know, softening. Immediately the change comes about with Neroli that just softens everything. And I think I speak for myself now, my observations, whether other people would agree, but as I get older I notice more. I'm more observant, perhaps because I'm no longer worrying really what anybody else thinks, you know, that this is my incarnation in this life, that I am noticing when the leaves unfurl on the trees. I see the first bursts of the shoots coming through the ground of the bulbs. I notice the days that the bees land on the plants and not. I notice when I'm holding tension in my body. I notice the mornings when I wake up and I think something bad's happening. These are very much female things. They belong to the non-linear mind, the intuition, the illogical as opposed to logical. You don't really notice why you are picking up the synchronicities. You don't notice why something catches your eye the way that it does. You often question, why did that come into my head? Why did I think of that? That's weird. I was only just thinking about something related yesterday. That's strange that you should message me today when I was only thinking about you yesterday. Those noticings, you know. I remember, what's the name of the magician? Darren Brown. My son, my oldest son, he's a magician. He does fantastic magic. It's how he paid his way through university, doing stints at the poshest balls. He went to all the best balls because he was the magician at them. And so he used to watch lots of magicians. And Derren Brown did a really interesting thing where he was talking about luck and how people who believed they were lucky seemed to be lucky. And those people who believed they were not lucky did indeed seem to be unluckier. So he did this tremendous experiment where he put things for them to notice around, and the people who were the lucky ones were the ones who were doing the noticing. They were picking up the synchronicities, they were seeing the signs, they were noticing the tenor that was on the floor. But the people who were not lucky were those who were just not looking. And that's very much Neroli medicine, how we observe and then we bring things into being. We manifest things. And that is very much the medicine of the woman that, this is the Melissa medicine really, actually. This is what I'm writing in the Melissa book, about how the non-linear signs, that sensitivity, in our day and age, we say that oversensitivity of the woman, you know, that hysterical nature, that unpredictable nature, which can be construed as a negative thing that one should manage in this day and age, historically was the power. There was the power. And it's this nature that is found in the flower of the orange blossom, that we observe, that we bring things into manifestation. So I'll read the poem, shall I? Because I don't remember it, but I can imagine what it says. It says, listen to intuition without the fear of failure. Notice what's happening around you is the product of your mind. Trust in your inner power to make decisions wisely. Accept your own decisions and stand by them at your core. Dance in my airy fragrance. Carry with you gratitude. Understand how you can make reality manifest. So at the bottom of these cards, there's like a key. So I'll read you what it says. It says that it's a middle to base note, that it has wood energy, that it affects the crown chakra, and that it is ruled by Venus. And it says it's neutral to cool, regulates chi, harmonizes shen. It reduces vata and pitta and tonifies kapha. So let's start at the bottom first. Let's think about the Ayurvedic medicine. It reduces vata, that feeling of brittleness, nebulous, floating, anxiousness, flibbity gibbets, you know, feel like that. But also it reduces pitta, that the red hair, the very sensitive skin, the sharp tongue, the fast brain, the jumping to decisions, the creating arguments. Me? I don't think so. But it tonifies kapha. So the positive aspects of kapha are how it is steady, how it plods, how it is meticulous, how it has stamina. It has beautiful greasiness to the skin, but not pitta greasiness. It's just well nourished. It's plump. It has clear eyes, big features. Kapha is disposed towards constipation. So where we're talking about an oil that reduces diarrhea, we can see how, it moves us to that place. The anxiety, not really a kapha thing, anxiety. They're too robust. It's a vata thing, anxiety. It's steady. All of those things moving us towards that way. neutral to cool. We can see how it's cooling. Actually, I can remember when I was having my daughter, the Body Shop used to sell a Neroli spritzer and Neroli wipes, and I can just remember it was so hot that year. Using the orange flower wipes over and over was the only thing that made me feel cool and refreshed. Regulates chi. The chi is the prana, the energy moving forward. So we can see how it might be sporadic with vata, can't we? We can see how it might be too harsh with pitta, steady with kapha. And it harmonises shen. All of those things happening within the mind, all of the mental processes, harmonising them, bring them together. So ideas and creativity and worry and memory, harmonising them all together. Crown chakra, how it opens, it makes us more aware of what's going on in the consciousness, and how it's ruled by Venus, the divine feminine, but love, the heart, grief, joy, all of those things that exist within the heart space. But probably most interesting is it's ruled by wood energy in Chinese medicine. That's the part just after the winter, as things start to sprout, things start to come into being. So we can imagine how right now we're having our thoughts and they are germinating under the soil in the winter, in the quiet time. And it's easy to think nothing is going on. But when we get to wood energy and we start to see new business coming through, we start to see we can go and meet our friends, our networking gets more, our branches start to unfurl, the leaves start to come, and we are starting to manifest. All of that is Neroli medicine. So we've talked about emotionally balances. Just check against the slides. It enables you to clear your thoughts of heaviness, is what I've written for mental, and it helps you manifest your thoughts, is the spiritual medicine of Neroli. So we've done that. So I'll leave those slides on for you now, although it won't take long for you to look at those. There's about 2 sentences on each. And then you'll see the spread. If you haven't already seen the spread, have a look about how we use the Tongue of the Trees cards. How can they be used to do readings and go more deeply in? How do we use these poems that talk as if the plant is speaking to us? Access that vibration. They're really designed to bypass the conscious mind. You know, everything's there, but our conscious mind is so loud that it's hard to be able to read it. So cards, who knows why cards are such strange things? Cards are very good at being able to bypass that and really look at what's going on in the subconscious level. And of course, we can use that to say, well, that's interesting from a psychological point of view. But when we think about it's interesting from the psychological point of view and how is that affecting our physical body, then that becomes a really useful tool. And originally I'd used this idea as a way I wanted to unpick when somebody sits in front of me and says, I'm in so much pain, because obviously I'm a pain practitioner. Why? What tool can I use to be able to get to what's going on with you? Because the conscious mind will tell you, but I don't want to talk to the conscious mind. I want to talk to the unconscious mind. And the cards will do that. Oddly, very, very oddly. I wrote them. I think they're the weirdest thing going. So have a look at the spread. That was a long-winded way of saying that. And when we come back, we will talk about the safety. And then I'll send you across to Budapest, and I will be excited to learn how to blend Neroli essential oil. going to run through a quick layout for you to show you the different cards. Now, one of the things that we're not going to tell you in this video, in these videos, is the poem that goes with the cards. But for this layout, we will read them to you just so that you get a chance to sort of feel how the different poems look. So I thought I'd show you the cards. As you can see, lovely little box. I'll show you the other side. Boring stuff, except for cool stuff what I read. Okay, so if we open it up, we can see that the cards just have one logo on, and that is because these originally were Gegle's cards. He's been selling these for a long time in Hungary. Mostly they've been bought by kinesiologists, interestingly enough. They've been doing the energy work with them. They haven't got any aromatherapy background, but they've been able to tap into the energetics of the oils to be able to move emotional blockages. So let's show you. So these come out nice and easy because we've got beautiful little ribbons. And let's get rid of that. So if I said to the cards, what energy do I need? What oils will help me do the best job with these videos? Let's have a... Now, my friend Belinda used these the other day, and she does have a habit of shuffling them the wrong way. So we'll have to hope that they're all the way right up. I'm not doing a good job of keeping them that way. So let's have a look. What do I need to do a great job? So I think, it's up to you how you do it, but I think cut it 3 ways, cut it back. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So first 3 cards off the top. Cedarwood Virginian. I'll tell you why I'm laughing at that in a minute. Heart Rose and Lavender. That's a beautiful blend, isn't it? Reason why I was laughing about a Cedarwood Virginian is when Gegle and I came to do the notes of all the different cards, we both went, oh, we've done these cards for Cedarwood Virginian and I don't really know how to explain them differently. And because I was doing lots of editing work, I went, oh, just leave it. So yesterday I did a meditation with Cedarwood Virginian and got the most beautiful, beautiful work out of it. So you must tap into that tomorrow, have a listen to that video and see it was really different stuff that came out. So let's have a look. So if we go to the book, we can see that there's a brown streak on cedarwood, and that tells us it's the woods. So we find the woods. Slowly but surely we find the woods. At the back. Okay, so I'm going to use the other cards just to cover up the other pages, because you know what? Sooner or later you're going to have to pay me for something. So, Cedarwood Virginian. Actually, I'll show you this, but I'll read it to you because I'm hoping that it doesn't turn back to front on you, but it may well do. So, Cedarwood Virginian says, hold strong. Don't be swayed by the winds of change around you. Stand tall. Resist the temptation to listen as the naysayers surround you. Keep focused on the job you have in hand. Remain strategic. Don't veer from tactics you've planned. Listen intently to information on the breeze. Remain determined. Your courage is what makes me pleased. Hold strong. Don't be swayed by the winds of change around you. Stand tall. Resist the temptation to listen as the naysayers surround you. Keep focused on the job you have in hand. Remain strategic. Don't veer from tactics you've planned. Listen intently to information on the breeze. Remain determined. Your courage is what makes me pleased. And I'd forgotten, I stopped halfway through because I'd forgotten this is the only one that went like around. It kept repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And that taps in beautifully to the determination, doesn't it? I'm keeping on reminding you. I'm keeping on reminding you. I'm keeping on reminding you. So, and actually, definitely watch the video on Cedarwood Virginian, because you'll see just how spooky that is when you see the meditation work I did. Now, you'll also see on here at the bottom of the page, there's the energetics. Now, we're not going to talk about these energetics at all in the video. you might want to go and buy our knowledge base. Now, the knowledge base is completely based on this, and it is a set of lessons on each of the aspects. So middle to base, you're going to hear about that today when Gergely does his blending. So that's there. It also vibrates on the throat chakra. So what does that mean? Within the knowledge base, there is a complete set of information about the different chakras. We do as a lecture on each different chakra, how it affects on the emotional body, how it affects the physical body, how it affects the mental and spiritual bodies, and how that's working. So when we're looking at the knowledge base, this information here describes how the energies move through the system. What energy shift has taken place that we are getting these different physical problems and mental issues. So we can see that cedarwood Virginian operates on the water element and the earth element. And again, in the knowledge base, there's a complete section about, we talk about the about half an hour about the water element, then again about half an hour for the earth element, metal, fire, and whatever the other one is, gone out of my head. And then here we can see Sagittarius. Now, so that tells us that what planetary rulership it comes under. This is medical astrology, and this is actually how I see the different energetics playing out. Some people see it through the Ayurvedic, some people see it through Chinese medicine. This is always the lens I see it through. And usually we'll talk about how it's ruled by the moon or the sun or Saturn and the different trends that we see out. And when we look at an archetype like that, it's like Jade Shoots always says, it's like a metaphor, and that's a great analogy of how you can see the thread playing out right across the medicine. And so you can see that cedarwood Virginian is Sagittarius. So in the knowledge base, we talk about the different signs and planets and also the different houses. If I remember right, Angelica, for example, falls under the Pisces Aries cusp. So that's really quite a difficult one to understand. There's a whole lesson about the Pisces Aries cusp. And then again, Chinese medicine, it nourishes yin. What does that mean? What does it mean? It calms Shen. Shen is an interesting phenomenon all in its own right. It's the consciousness, our mental faculties, our imagination, our emotions, God with a small g, God with a big G. All of those aspects is a complete lesson about Shen and how the essential oils can affect it and change that to move the energy. And then we can see increases Pitta, reduces Vata, balances Kapha. So it's interesting, actually. I do know at the moment all of my oils tend to come out with earth energy. It's quite interesting hearing me do the earth energy lecture because it's entirely about the challenges I am facing at the moment. But if you are somebody who sells essential oils and you're looking for a way in all of the time, right? You're talking to the person at the school gate, for example, and you can see, she seems a healthy girl, to be honest. She's loving her kids, she seems happy. Imagine somebody who's got a really sing-song voice all the time. Oh, my darling, how did you get on today? Was it lovely? I know. And then child walks off. How are you? To everybody. If that sing-song voice never quite relents, then you can imagine that there's an earth energy imbalance. So any oils that fall under earth energy are good ones to sell. So yeah, if you are interested in learning more about that, ways in, just kind of being able to see, talking to somebody, what might be clues of what's going on with that energetic shift, then head over the knowledge base to have a look at that. So what was our next card? It was Rose, wasn't it? Queen of Roses, as you know. I do love my roses. Let's have a look. So the flowers, I think, are at the front of the book, if I remember rightly. Beautiful pink. Oh, they're both flowers, aren't they? So rose, rose, rose. Damask Rose. I was thinking we'd miss Rose out, but it's not under Duff for Rose. It's under, sorry, it's not Rough for Rose. It's Duff for Damask Rose. I remember writing this one, actually. This is quite sad. So it says, standing by your graveside or sobbing into your pillow, I know your pain. On the days when you feel lonely, worried or sad, I know your pain. Through the nights where sleep seems far away and you feel like you might break, amidst the anger, the confusion and desolation, I feel your pain. For I was there, remember, when you smelled the roses of their love as your fingertips stroked my petals and tried to avoid the prick of thorn. I felt your hopes, your fears, your joy of deep connection. I ensnared it in my scent to help conjure that affection. In my fragrance, remember hope. Let my aroma you complete. May scent of celebration heal you, calm you and help you sleep. For through me you are never alone, always loved and open to give and receive more. Smell me, open up and feel safe to feel love once more. Now I anticipate that these will be different for everybody, but that's entirely my dad talking to me. I feel quite choked up reading that, actually. When he died, he gave me a rose bush. My cousin works for a rose bush company, David Austin Roses. I'm sure you've heard of them. He's quite a senior manager there, and Dad arranged for a rose called Noble Anthony to be given to me and my sisters at the funeral. So I go and sit and talk to the rose bush. That's a great reminder that my dad's with me today. So that actually, Dad, that really helps. Thank you. So let's have a look at the energetics. We can see middle heart chakra, obviously. Water. Now, again, as I say, in the knowledge base, there is a much bigger lecture on water, but the energy of water is how it can flow around any obstacle and find a way to fill the space. So that's great. That's lovely. And Venus is obviously the planet of love, but there's lots more to do with beauty and and money, actually. There's an interesting lecture on Venus. I like talking about Venus. Balance is Vata, Pitta and Kapha. If you don't know, Vata is very drying. Pitta is hot and fiery and moist. And Kapha is sluggish. So it brings it all into alignment. But in the knowledge base, as I say, different lectures on each of those. So it nourishes the blood. Well, I've got funny blood, actually, so that's useful to know, Dad. Thank you. Yin and essence. So yin is the feminine aspect. It's very gentle and passive and receptive. And it harmonises the heart and Shen. We just talked about Shen. So we're going to put all these in a blend in a minute. And so last but not least, the cards have told me that I should go for lavender, which I guess is probably just over the page. Still in the pinks, as you can see. Oh, I remember this one too. Cover them up, cover them up. Can you see? There we go. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When you breathe me, dilly dilly, softly you dream. Anger and grief, dilly dilly, softly drift by. Worries and hurts, dilly dilly, kiss them goodbye. When you feel tense, dilly dilly, look for the bees. See how they buzz, dilly dilly, resting with ease. Learn from their hum, dilly dilly, for they all know. Learning to rest, dilly dilly, helps you to grow. Breathe in the scent, dilly dilly, lavender's light. Calm your stressed mind, honey, honey, surrender the fight. Release cares and worries, dilly dilly, I help you to see. Life is so good, dilly dilly, just let it be. Okay, I'm going to let them flow, not force them. This helps, this really helps, you know. I've got to tell you, when I was helping Gergley do this, he was sending me his notes, and every time they came across it, I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to do the cards. These are really hard. Didn't like my poems at all. really found them difficult to do, and really I just wanted to be writing my Melissa book, which I kind of still do, but I'm feeling a bit happier now. I've got the cards in my hands and I can see them because they really help. Honestly, they really help. So and of course I might be biased because it's my words talking back to me, but hearing the plant and seeing it written down, it's very helpful. So actually I've probably skipped the most valuable part of the process for speed. But when you turn out your cards, if you have got the oils, I would sit and breathe the oil as you read the poem. And that's very difficult to do on this camera like this, but because then you will really hear, you'll have that connection with the plant. It will open it up to you. So top to middle note, as I say, Glay's going to talk to us about the blending. Water, we've just talked about how that finds ways, effortlessly finds gaps to do things, doesn't force it, just gets around any obstacle. Heart chakra again. Mercury, communication, data, information. Yeah, that's very mercurial medicine. We'll talk about that. I know there's a very interesting lecture about Mercury. I originally wrote the Mercury ropes for the pain practitioner program. And so these are quite detailed lectures, about half an hour long, the medical astrology ones, because of course that's my passion. Neutral to cool is the action. Yeah, cooling like the roses. Activates chi. Now again, we'll talk about chi in the knowledge base, but basically it's the life force. You know how we said we talked about Shen? Well, if Shen doesn't have adequate chi forcing it through, then it becomes disrupted. And I always think about it feeling like you're treading water. So the activation of chi calms Shen or nourishes Shen or raises Shen, depending on which essential oil it is. It aggravates Vata. So yes, this is one of my favourite nags. So the world tells you to put lavender essential oil into every massage oil, into your moisturiser, into your bath. So it aggravates Vata. People, it will dry you out. That is how you get dry skin. Aggravates Vata, makes you a bit vapid, a bit dreamy. So all of the time you're like, you know, like the dreamers that wander around on a cloud. If you're not careful, too much lavender makes you that. Pacifies kapha, so it stops you feeling sluggish, stops you feeling heavy. It's not really directly indicated for constipation, but that shift of energy through kapha would release not only constipation, but congestion in the sinuses. And pacifies pitta. Well, pitta is hot, so it's calming. It reduces inflammation. Anything that's red, hot, angry, it'll calm it down. So there we go. So first, I've got my smelly stick. And really, this is only because then I can stick it down my top and you won't be able to see it. So we could use aroma pendants, we could use massage oil, sniffy sticks, whatever. This is just what works for me, and that's the most important thing, that it's the thing that works for you. So cedarwood Virginian is a fast oil, if I remember rightly. So this is quite a thin distillation. Ooh. And then we'll mop up everything off the table. Dip it up, wipe it up. Oh, it's so beautiful, it's smoky. It's beautiful, and I can tell you the lecture is about tapping into your ancestral line, and given that my ancestral line is full of wizards and witches, that's very helpful. Lots of plant healers coming to my aid. So a bit of lavender. Warm the bottle. You'll notice I cover the thing. It's not because I'm covering the labels, although it's because I can't be bothered going, don't ask me which oils I use, but it's more because it's very cold in this shed, so things get stiff, especially myrrh. Goodness me, when we come to do the myrrh video, I have to warm it up 3 weeks before. And then beautiful rose, Look at the colour of that. Beautiful. It's my favourite bit, you know, was it waiting for it to come out, just seeing the colour. Have I got the nerve to let it drop? I have. Go on, mix, 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 blend. You know, whenever I try and do videos, I always want to have the image of oils mixing, and it nobody ever quite videos that effectively. I think it would be beautiful. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that is sheer heaven. Just beautiful. So yeah, if you obviously want to buy the cards, there's a link underneath that tells you where to get them from. But also, if you want to use the knowledge base, there's a link through to that too. And goodness me, when you start to smell that and you feel all the knowledge base opening up all the different shifts in the body and how they move and how they're executing through the physical body, it's really extraordinary. It's a whole new layer to plant medicine. So there we go. That is how to do the blending. Can't wait for you to watch Gerglo talk about proper blending in a minute. Welcome back. Let's talk about the safety of Neroli essential oil. Again, really short bit. So safe. Maximum dilution. Oh, here again. Every time I'm filming here, it's the dust from the heater. Makes my nose itch. Maximum dilution is 3%, but you could definitely go higher for acute medicines. Diarrhea, for example. If I wanted to get to a problem with diarrhea quickly, or if somebody was dealing with anxiety, I would use inhalation anyway. I find I'm using topical dilution less and less, which is wonderful for my bank account. You know, if you sit and inhale it, you use an awful lot less than you do if you're using it topically. And I think for Neroli, topical for skin, no doubt about it. No doubt about it, it's beautiful. Topical for pains in my legs, I'm out. The rest would be inhalation. So, you know, it's an expensive oil. Presumably, I guess, it takes an awful lot of orange blossoms, which have a very short life cycle before they become a fruit. So hard to make, I would have thought. But, you know, so it does have a price tag, but lasts forever and ever, amen, I find. So yeah, you could definitely use a maximum dilution of higher than 3%, but why would you? You don't need to. Safe for children and during pregnancy after 16 weeks. But like I said with Monarda last week, I'd be happy with you using Monarda earlier on if need be. I am a scaredy cat when it comes to pregnancy. I do put down strict rules, but if there was a reason, like diarrhea, if somebody had got really bad diarrhea in the or maybe, you know, morning sickness, although it's not indicated, that sort of not being able to deal with moisture, I wouldn't want them using ginger. Ginger's too much, but Neroli would be okay. And certainly cats and dogs, no reason to worry about them at all. So that was short and sweet, wasn't it? Wish I could get all my videos this short. So watch the slide, which tells you next to nothing, but I like the music. And then let's see what Gerglo has to say.
this is Gergely, and this is my Neroli blending video for our Neroli video 1 in the knowledge base and in the recipe hubs. In the recipe hub, you can find wonderful recipes and knowledge about Neroli, and I'm sure that Liz has covered a jillion different topics on Neroli because she's really great at telling stories. Now, let's start with the illustration. I love this illustration, and the keyword is observation. And the Latin name is Citrus aurantium variation amara. Well, aurantium means shining, and it probably refers to the leaves because they are shining. Very close to lime's Latin name because it's aurantifolia, which means shining leaves. And the variation, the amara, means bitter. And no wonder, because we are talking about the bitter orange tree. Now, the bitter orange tree is a special tree in aromatherapy, a special plant, because we actually extract 3 different essential oils from 3 different parts of the tree, the bitter orange tree. One is the bitter orange essential oil, which is actually the essential oil coming from the fruit of bitter orange, which is a close relative to sweet orange, but hence the name bitter orange because it's bitter, right? And also the zest is bitter, and also a little bit the fruit itself, the flesh is a little bit bitter. So we don't really eat it, but we use it more for essential oils. But although, you know, the fruit, they also dry, and they use it for various culinary reasons, especially in Italy, for example, and the Mediterranean countries. So first of all, bitter orange, that's the first essential oil. The second one is petitgrain, which comes, this is the usual petitgrain, that it is also called bigarade or bigardia in perfumery language. And the petitgrain is made of the leaves by steam distillation. And there are many petitgrains, and I'm going to talk about it in our petitgrain video. And this one that we are talking about is Neroli, which comes from the blossoms or the flowers of the bitter orange tree. And there's a story behind why it is called Neroli, and it's linked to an Italian countess. And I'm sure that Liz has been covering this story. So Neroli, the essential oil is actually produced by steam distillation, and it is actually a very expensive, or rather expensive, essential oil. Not as expensive as, for example, spikenard, for example, but it is quite a costly essential oil. And the reason is because you need a lot of flowers to produce Neroli oil. So just some numbers. So for example, you need about 100 pounds of blossoms to make 1 pound of essential oil. The tree or the essential oil usually comes from the Mediterranean region because it's indigenous there. So primarily like Italy or Morocco or Egypt, but many other countries produce it as well. And because it's quite costly and it's quite expensive, a lot of adulterated oils you find on the market. So always make sure that you are buying your essential oils from trusted producers. Those who not only sell essential oils, but they have a lot of knowledge behind it as well. And they appreciate the plant and all that effort and work and plant material that we have to use to produce this essential oil. Now, if I want to describe Neroli as a note, the perfumery note is definitely a middle to top note or middle note. Sometimes people use it. Some people actually use Neroli as a base note, but most conventionally, it's actually a middle to top or top note. And if I want to describe the aroma, it is not as complex as many other essential oils, but it is definitely warm and radiant. It's definitely floral because it comes from the flowers, right? And it's sweet and it's fresh. So it's sweet, but not as sweet as ylang ylang. You know, it's not just overwhelmingly sweet. It's freshly sweet. And you could call it light, or some people describe it as ethereal. It's because it just sort of like fills the whole area you have, and then it uplifts the blends, and it gives just that warm floral touch to a blend, to a composition. What does it blend well with? Well, it blends well with most of the other citrus oils, and it comes from a citrus tree, so it blends well with most of them, like lemon or orange or lime or especially with bergamot. It's a beautiful composition. A lot of perfumes contain bergamot and neroli together, and also with other florals like lavender or lavandin. Also blends well with ylang ylang, Roman chamomile, or geranium, or clary sage, or most of the petitgrains, not just the bitter orange petitgrain that we usually or traditionally call petitgrain, but also there are other petitgrains like lemon, mandarin, bergamot, combava petitgrains. But it also combines well with some of the spices like coriander or ginger, but also with some of the grasses like palmarosa, and definitely great with some of the resins like myrrh, frankincense, the woodies like sandalwood, or again going back to the resins like benzoin. Sorry, it's a wonderful combination. But it also blends well with a couple of the absolutes like rose or vanilla or jasmine. And in a few of my compositions, when I'm blending for natural perfumery, I blend it with the rum. So like any kind of rum, you can try lots of rums. Rum and neroli is a very exquisite combination, so to speak. If I look at the therapeutic properties, and Liz covers all these therapeutic properties, but in general, neroli gives you these feelings of anti-anxiety. It's great for insomnia, or a lot of people use neroli in trauma work, for example, or when including mourning, someone dies and then you make a blend for them. You could definitely include neroli and rose. Pardon. It's definitely, and then part of that, it's a great nervine oil. So that means that it's great for your nervous system, relaxes your nervous system. It's great for the sensitive skin, if I'm talking about cosmetics. It's a great anti-inflammatory oil. So you can use it in different preparations for eczema, for inflamed skin, and so on and so forth. This is covered, many of the aspects are covered in our recipe hub videos. And traditionally, it's a great oil to include blends for PMS syndromes, be it like pre or post or ongoing, or even for pain. It's great for the nervous system. And in general, it's really widely used in perfumery, which I love, and especially in botanical perfumery. But you can also play around, adding some artificial ingredients such as hedione, for example, if you are trying to mix up the naturals with the essential oils. It really just sort of enhances and makes it a great bubble, bursting out in floral notes. Neroli, just a beautiful oil. And so if you like this video, then come back for another one. And before going, I would say that if you are concerned about safety with neroli, I wouldn't be concerned, because it's pretty much a gentle oil. So you can use it during pregnancy, you can use it on kids, and as a citrus oil, then you might be cautious when using it for sunlight, although it's not a phototoxic oil, but prudence is always a must. So if you like this video, come back for the next one, and until that, I wish you a happy blending.
I love to hear him talk. He's understanding. It's so weird actually how different our understanding of the same oils are. We both know how to use them correctly. We just have a completely different energetic about it. And his understanding of fragrance leaves me astounded, to be honest. So let me think. Let me tell you about what we've got in the hub for the metaphysical recipes in the hub this week. If you don't know, the recipe hub is a monthly subscription, £5.99, because PayPal keeps ripping me off for charges. So £5.99 a month, and in there now are just under 330 videos, of which they're about between 4 and 7 minutes long, most of them. The recipes that are in the hub this week, they stay in there, they just grow, the hub just grows. For Neroli we have done an aroma pendant for stressful moments, and in my head I was thinking things like the dentist, driving lessons, you know, those things that are not everyday stress, stuff that you just dread. We also have done a relaxed and romantic massage oil, an aroma pendant to bring more positive thoughts, and a meditation blend to help manifest the future. Hopefully after the videos all of those are self-explanatory. And just a reminder to hit the subscribe button, please, if you haven't done that already. Please leave me a comment underneath. Ideally, not a link to porn. I am getting a bit sick about deleting those every week. And I just want to say thank you so much for all your support, but also sitting with me here during lockdown where I got nobody else to talk to. And I'll see you next week. For now, thank you for staying with me for What is Neroli Essential Oil Good For?
You get your phone, and turn it this way up, and then there's a little red subscribe button. Turn it grey by clicking it, and then there's a little bell. Click that and press all at the bottom of your phone or tablet or computer. It will say you will receive all notifications, and then there's a little hand with a thumbs up. Click that, it'll turn it blue and it says added to your liked videos, and there will be comments, and if you want to you can send a comment and say like hi's to mum and dad, like, and then the link to the next video will be in the description below underneath the video. So bye.